I'm Tom Druitt. A friend and I started the Big Lemon in 2007, and we run a small fleet of buses on waste cooking oil from local restaurants, and we also do private coach hire and coaches for music festivals and all sorts of corporate stuff or parties or whatever. So we have a range of things going on, local services and all sorts of other things, all running on environmentally friendly vehicles. The biggest motivation was that public transport didn't have a very good reputation, and I felt it was so central to communities and to society to have good public transport, because if more people would use public transport, then a whole load of problems, environmental problems, social problems, health problems, would be much easier. In Brighton, for example, we suffer from terrible congestion and poor air quality as well. And if more people used the buses and less people drove, then a lot of those problems would be fixed. At the moment, it's very difficult for local communities to really do anything about a lot of the transport issues that they have, because lack of expertise, lack of time, money, whatever. So they're very reliant on the services that are run by the big transport groups. Bus companies are very corporate, most of them, and mostly it's about the bottom line, maximising profit. What is best for the community doesn't feature at the top of the list, sometimes not even halfway up the list. And really I wanted to have public transport that was community-led, owned and operated by members of the community for the benefit of the community, and that's what the Big Lemon is all about. So when we started, we didn't really know much about fuel, but obviously we wanted to make the business as sustainable as possible, and so the most obvious thing was the fuel. Massive carbon footprint if you're running on diesel. And I'd heard before that you could run vehicles on other things, and so I started doing a bit of research and found that there was this stuff called biodiesel that some people used in their cars. And I thought, well, can we use it in the bus? I couldn't find any examples of people using it in the bus, but we just thought, well, we'll give it a go and see what happens. So a couple of weeks before we launched our service, we got the buses and we did testing on different things. And we started with 50% biodiesel and that worked. So then we put in 100% and that worked. So from day one, we ran all the buses on 100% biodiesel, and that's got a huge number of benefits, because the carbon footprint is so tiny. It's essentially through the cycle from cradle to grave, if you like. It's almost carbon neutral, because you've got carbon dioxide taken in by the plant. It then is used to make the oil. The oil is used in fish and chip shops and restaurants, and then it's collected, processed, put in the bus, and then the carbon dioxide that comes out of the back is just the same carbon dioxide that was taken in by the plant the year before. One thing that we've realised over the last couple of years is that some of the newer buses that are coming on the market aren't really compatible with biodiesel, because the technology is changing and the engines are that much more sensitive now to anything that's not diesel. At the same time as that technology is getting harder and harder to work, a new technology is becoming easier and easier and more effective and cheaper, and that is electric. So we've just done a big crowdfunding campaign. We raised £250,000 this year for electric buses, and we're going to be placing an order very soon for electric buses that we will run on renewable electricity. So we've got the same sustainability, but with the added benefit that there are no emissions from the buses at all. So it's not just CO2 that's reduced, it's also everything else. Everything is reduced to zero. There is a huge appetite across the country for local action there's a kind of growing vacuum of sustainable transport provision across the country, and if people can do something about it themselves, then I think we can see a real change. And now it's all about purpose and happiness and community and sustainability, and people are really just piling in with money, with time, with energy, enthusiasm, all sorts, to solve local problems.